What it do? It's your boy Drew Blue back at it again for another Vibe Out sesh. Ow! Today the Lone Wolf will be tackling For No Good Reason by Euroz as the follow-up to B.I.C, which we covered in the last episode. So after dropping those three amazing records, from Memories of the Future to Age of Aquarius and B.I.C, all in the span of 1 year, Euroz himself decided to take off a full year closely. And after July, dropped a new project around, I want to say 8 months later or 9 months later on April 1st. So, you know, no April Fools there, but obviously any fool would not be paying attention or tuning in to the music that he was dropping that day, because For No Good Reason is definitely also his third EP, straight EP to follow up with 10 tracks that I got right here that we're gonna vibe out to. And man, all I can tell you is that dude did not held back supplying heat. Now, I will definitely say the last episode, B.I.C, felt more of like a turn up record than it did as just a lyric heavy record like Age of Aquarius was, in my opinion. But that doesn't take away that when he's willing and when he's on, he could write the hardest and coldest lines. So with that being said, I really want to get into this 10 track EP. So I gotta say too, one more thing before we go. Dude probably picked the most disturbing looking cover for a record that I've seen. For no good reason. I'll let y'all see it real quick. It's basically, and it's not illusion. Yeah, I know my phone's cracked, but there's some cracks on the cover too. And it looks like it's a female's shoulder and like, I don't know, some weird, like I guess that's her hair or something like that. All I know is that it looks kind of weird, and ever since, like, I've kind of like wasn't a fan of this cover. So like I think I was rocking an alternate cover for a good minute, but I was like, you know what, let me just stick with this. So with that being said, or I might actually just change it after this, but either way, I want to get into the music. So without further ado, let me go ahead and cut the chat and get into the track and vibe out to track number 1, Expensive Thoughts. And then I'm gonna be pausing every now and then to catch up with some bars that are pretty dope. So y'all just stay in tune with that. Let's get it. That was weird. Lord knows a piece of mind is hard to come by. Yo, ain't it crazy how he unsigned, avoiding blood suckers? It would kill him to see sunrise. Right there, he just said see sunrise. I paused it too soon. I want to bring up that line right there. So there he goes. Yo, ain't it crazy how he unsigned, avoiding blood suckers? It would kill him to see sunrise. So blood suckers is basically an analogy for his haters and how they don't want to see him succeed. So he goes with the second line, and obviously bloodsuckers, when you compare it to vampires, it just makes the bars even dope, because then it goes, it would kill him, but essentially it's like it would kill them to see sunrise. So obviously sunrise will kill a vampire if any part of the sun shines on them. But like I said, as comparing his haters wanting to see him really go down with negative energy, man, that's basically like bloodsuckers sucking that energy out of him. He's saying that it would kill them to see the sun, and he's comparing the sun to Euroz, like, you know what I mean, like, what's up, son, like that. See sunrise, and, you know, basically see him succeed. So there you go. I like that line right there. Let's keep going. I see on some best shit. Ain't no rookies with the kid, was certified as an adult, nigga. They booked me as a kid. And shout out to my mom, she had my back since birth. Ain't shit changed, cause even now she pushing for a kid. Another line that I like right there was, see off some vet shit, ain't no rookies with the kill. Certified as an adult, nigga. They booked me as a kid. And then of course he flips it where he goes like, shout out to my mom, she had me since birth. Ain't shit changed, cause even now she pushing for a kid. So he went from being a grown ass adult as a kid, doing, you know what I mean, grown ass shit, cause some kids do grow up early, to now his mom, who's been supporting him since day one, wants a kid out of him. So I like that little flip right there too. Hold up, I had to steal spoons, I ain't cut from that. It's kings amongst king shit, not too many cut from that. dog, he's coming in with heavy bars. So I had to steal spoons, because I ain't never come from that. Let me make sure I said that right. Yeah. Oh, he's like, I ain't come from that. But here's the thing. I had to steal, like his intake, steal spoons. Steal spoons, essentially, he's talking about a silver spoon. Like, he never had a silver spoon in his mouth growing up, so he had to take that from other dudes. That's cold. I had to steal. So, like, to use that word twice like that, I think that's pretty clever right there. And it obviously goes on later. This kings amongst kings shit, not too many come from that. The judge threw the book at me. I read that shit from front to back. All right, chapters in my life that had took, and still I don't want nothing back. So he's saying right there, analogy, when the case got thrown on him, when he spent the 4 years, you know, pretty much in prison, he did not let a single time, you know, go to waste. So, and he said he doesn't want it back. It means he doesn't regret the fact that he had to serve 4 years, because it may changed him to be a better person, which is definitely dope. You know what I mean? Love to see that. But most importantly though, I like how he said the judge threw the book at me, and I read that from front to back. And that's like saying that, like, from the moment that he got hit with the case, he made the most out of every opportunity till he reached the end of his case. So that's where he's like, every page of the book, you know what I mean, he capitalized on it. And those were chapters in his life that he doesn't ever want to have taken away from him or revoked, because he's glad that he had that to change him for a better person. But then it continues on.
I ain't changed, I just let that shit inspire me. Mastered the pen behind bars, so the irony.
Mastered the pen behind bars. Oh, the irony. Obviously locked behind bars in a pen. He's been writing bars with a pen. Ironic. Let's keep going.
Dark past, Lord forgive me. Way before Christmas, me and mine lit up entire streets. Gassing these niggas up, I keep supplying.
Way before Christmas, me and mine lit up the streets. Woo! Keep going, keep going.
I heard this shit you like, and they say I'm sheep. Yeah. And they say I'm sheep.
And even that, you keep gassing these niggas up, I keep supplying heat. I heard the shit you like, and it say I am sheep. So obviously he's like, while you keep gassing them up with helium or whatever, let their heads get over the sky, I got the propane here. I mean, I got my own gas, and I got the heat to provide for y'all. And at the same time, he's like, I heard the people that you be listening to, they ain't really about that real shit. All they doing is just that, you know, bullshit, cars, clothes, you know, the mainstream artists. And he's calling them like I am sheep, because all they do is stand for, what's the word I'm looking for? Vanity values instead of real values. And that's where I like Euroz coming in deep like that.
Anyway, what a hoes like, costing bras over for orgy, bet they all come. I don't think you hear me, I said orgy, bet they all come. On second thoughts, I'm starving my distractions, really on a mission, about to rob the game blind. Shout out to the coalition, y'all letting anybody sign, what's up, it's those petition.
I gotta fucking read that shit right. That's my favorite line from this song. That shit right there. When I heard that, I was like, yeah. He's like, call some broads over for an orgy, bet they all come. I don't think you heard me. I said orgy, bet they all come. That was cold. If I have to tell you what he meant by that, I don't think you're old enough to be explain that. But he's just basically comparing come over to sex and what happens after, let's just say, you reach ecstasy. I'm gonna leave it at that. But orgy, but that's all that I'm gonna say right there. But yo, that shit was funny though. But also another line that he just said right here, y'all letting anybody sign what's up with those petition. Or before that, he said about to rob the game blind. Shout out to all the coalition. Y'all let anybody sign what's up with those petitions. So I feel like when he used the word coalition, I think he's like a temporary truce or whatever. So I don't know if he's talking about like the other real artists that he's gonna be working with, or like if he's talking about like a temporary alliance of like the fake ones against him. That's an interesting idea right there.
And no, that's not me hating, y'all should know the symptoms. 3-time felon getting money now. But if only God can judge me, I got no convictions. I don't most. You get high, the bread pop up. To that, here's the toast. Bitch woman's mad, they not the ones that people cheer for.
It's like Age of Aquarius all over again. I mean, shit. He's trying to. I feel like up to this point, before he dropped this, Silhouettes was his lyrical best take, man. I mean, fucking from beginning to end. He's challenging that with this take. Ridiculous. So let me break it down what he said here. But if only God could judge me, I got no convictions. Once again, shot at the fucking system. I don't glorify my past, but I'm fit to boast, overcoming his struggles. Absolutely. When they roll the credits, you're gonna see which people make the most. Ending credits. I like that shit right there. And he's obviously talking about him and his crew. You get high, the bread pop up. To that, here's a toast. Basically, he's talking about the bread pop up. Here's the toast. Basically, like when you want to have toast, all right? You put 2 loaves of bread in a toaster, you push it down, then it pops up. That means it goes from bread to toast. Here's a toast. I like that. But I thought what was interesting was like you get high, the bread pop up. When I heard that at first, before I heard the toast line, I thought he was talking about self-rising flour. You know what I mean? You get high, the bread pop up. So like, cause like when you get high, I'm thinking like you talking about when you get hot in there. So like where the temperature goes high, you know, self-rising flour rises up, like it pops up. So I thought that was another comparison he might have been trying to do, but that shit's fucking clean. Either way, let's go.
We on the rise, they still hating. We been here before. This shit is real. Don't think I've been in this gear before. It's funny how they find it hit and think of instant millions. Simmer down and hit who's hot soon as they hit they ceiling. Plenty driving, that's the spider. All of the whips he willing. Telling my ace I love to hustle like how Mitch was feeling.
Okay, so this is where Genius is fucking up. All right, how do you not get that reference? How you getting at that? That's terrible. That's fucking terrible. Hold on, let me take. I gotta take a break real quick. Give me 1 second. I had to take a restroom break real quick, but yeah, how do you miss the paid in full reference right there? You know, telling my ace. You know, Ace, Lulu. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was Ace, and then I remember he was there with Mitch, and then Mitch was telling him how like he loves the game. I forgot who got killed. Was it his younger brother? That was some fucked up shit in that movie. I hated that. But Mitch was a cool ass fucking dude. But yeah, he was like telling my ace, and Ace was off. Ace and Mitch were like, they're like day one homies. So the comparison of like saying telling my ace, I love the hustle like I'm Mitch. No, that's like he's saying he's comparing himself to Mitch, and his day one homie is Ace. You know what I mean? So it's like telling my ace, but like also ace in a shot. I like that. So that was pretty dope. Also before we hit that though, let me see. We on the rise, they still hating. We've been here before. The shift is real. Don't think I've been in this gear before. Now he's saying shift as in like if you ever drive a manual transmission, first, second, third, fourth shifts, there's gears. You change gears. So he's like, this shift is real. I don't think I've been in this gear before. So he's probably talking about like I've gone past fourth and fifth and sixth shift. What's after that? I've never been in seventh shift. So he's talking about his overdrive is just going crazy in terms of like his hustle. So I like that. It's funny how they finally hit it and think of instant millions. Simmer down and hear who's hot soon as they hit their ceilings. Now, if he's talking about when food gets too hot, sometimes like, you know where you see like food just explodes and that shit hits the ceiling? I don't know if he's using that comparison, but that's fucking dope. Like simmer down, let the food calm down, because if it gets too hot, it's gonna blow. Like, because when you cover food or whatever, like, that shit is hilarious. Man.
You can tell even in person I'm distant as hell. Swear I've been busy, missed calls from my niggas in jail. Not only write about this shit, but I lived it as well. Fuck a hit, he on a mission, not in this to fail. Treating moments like Addies is what he live in. Analyze the game and figure ways that he can get in. Why you lusting?
Hold on. What did he say after that? Swear I've been busy, missed called from my niggas in jail. That's an interesting line. I don't know what he said there. Give me 1 second. Let me recap it. All right, we back. Let's get it. Oh, damn.
These rappers already been in, doing nothing that stands out and everything to fit in. Actions.
Oh yeah. Hold up, let me rewind this back real quick.
Why you lusting women? These rappers already been in. Fail. Treating moments like addies is what he live in. Analyze the game.
Treating moments like they addies is what he lived in. So he's treating moments like addies, like Adderalls. Is that what he's saying? Let me see. Let me go back one more time.
Fail. Treating moments like addies is what he live in. Analyze the game and figure ways that he can get in. Why you lusting women? These rappers already been in, doing nothing that stands out and everything to fit in.
Yes, that shit cold. So he's like, why you lusting women? These rappers already been in, doing nothing that stands out and everything to fit in. Yes, he's calling these, well, you know what I mean? He calling them basic. That's all he's saying. And why are you going crazy over these basics when you know they don't do anything to stand out but everything to fit in? That's a fucking cold ass line right there. I think that might be one of my favorite lines behind the you didn't hear me. I said, orgy, bet they come again.
Just say it all, no need to ask you how you live it. Once I'm in position, bring the fam, that's a given. Something wrong with these labels, he trying not to give in. Cause creative control was more than what they can give him. You wonder why they snap on mixtapes and not on albums. Most substance on one track, the niggas got on albums. For them to know who the hottest.
Woo! I gotta pause that real quick. So there you go, he's going in. Let me bring my laptop over here. Shit. So he went right here. Once I'm in a position, bring the fam, that's a given. Tug of war with these labels, he's trying not to give in. Cause creative control worth more than what they can give him. You wonder why they snap on mixtapes and not on albums. More substance on one track that niggas got on albums. So, you know, anytime you got like, fuck it. All right, all these industry cats, all these little whatevers, Trippie Redd, 6ix9ine, all that shit. You put one of their albums and compare it to one track from someone who's killing it in the mixtape. Obviously, I'm gonna bring out Euroz. Hands down, I'll definitely, like, you know what I mean? Like, their whole album doesn't match up to this one track, for example. All right, that shit fucking cold. But I like that. More substance on one track than those industry cats got on an album. You know, and they're like, you wonder why they snap on mixtapes and not on albums, because creative control worth more than what they can give him. So in a sense, he's kind of like he said that backwards in a sense, where like how I said it backwards when I said the line right there before the other one, which actually came before it makes sense. You wonder why they snap on mixtapes and not on albums, because creative control worth more than what they can give him. And basically he's saying, you know, it's worth it to be independent and have all the creativity opportunities than to be limited to what you can do. I'm not gonna go in, but I've made it clear 100 times about a dude who has finally become independent and has yet to show that. So, you know, obviously I think it sucks, you know, but either way, with that person just not really knowing what they want to do with their music, for the most part, those who are already stuck under a major record label, contract are going to be limited to what they can do. Ty Dolla $ign probably one of the best examples. Before he was signed, I mean, every track on any project or record, that was going to be produced by Drugs, and if not Drugs, a very well respected producer. Now he's been working with everybody else, you know, and that's why I feel like a lot of his tracks, for example, for featuring Ty Dolla $ign, it just, a few songs hit me really good. But guess what? Those songs that hit me really good were produced by Drugs. You know what I mean? It's like, it's produced by Ty Dolla $ign and his group. Those were the songs I only liked from the album. Everything else that wasn't touched by him or his crew, I didn't like. Because look how limited their creative control was, you know? So, you know, it sucks, you know what I mean? And while it's a lot easier to be signed to a major record label because they give you the convenience of having access to anything like record distribution, you know, having everything set up for when you go on concert or go on tour and all that. But obviously what they do is they prepay all that. So what happens is you got to owe them for the amount of money they do for decorations and shit. So unless you want to limit them from how much they could do and tell them, hey, don't do that, just keep it simple like that. It's like basically you got to play cheap with it, you know. That way you limit the amount of debt that you have to pay them. And you gotta hope that you get a huge turnout and a lot of people come in, buy merch and this and that. You know, it's like, it's a tough position to be in when you're signed to a major record deal, because then they also give you an advance that you gotta pay back for. And some of these dumb cats, they just spend that shit automatically without taking the time to invest some of that money into whatever to kind of like let that money grow. So that way when it comes to paying them back, say they give you 300,000, you invest 100,000, and say that over a span of 3 years that 100,000 turns into, I don't know, fucking $1 million. Let's just say for the sake of argument, say you owe them 300,000, boom, you could just turn in that 700,000 and be good. But not a lot of artists think about that. They're too busy taking the money out, showing that, throwing it here on cars and shit, throwing it at people and whatever, and then next thing you know, they end up being fucking broken and they're in debt as well on top of that. So it's like, you know, it sucks because you don't make 100% of whatever you fucking, you know, give out. You only make 50%, and then that 50% that goes to you, you got to split that between your producers, the mixers, engineers, all that crazy shit. So you're putting yourself in like a huge amount of fucking debt, man. And I would hate for anyone to be in that position, especially if you're a talented artist. But when you have a lucky golden chance to get out of that and go independent, and you still have a huge following like fucking Tory Lanez does, you got to take advantage of that shit and go back to really making that, you know, authentic music. And if you're not, then, you know, it just shows a weakness, which I've been speaking, but I'm not gonna talk about this fool. I'm back here to a genuine real cat who's been doing this and has been kept in it real from day one. So with that being said, like I said, and you could even tell, like, even with the foundations, that, you know, Euroz was definitely kind of rocking with what was popping during the time. But in Memories of the Future, he said he put an end to all that and just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna give you guys the realest music that you can hear and know that I'm taking this shit serious. And that's when we really got to see Euroz blossom as the artist that we know he can be today. And it's dope. It's really dope. I really wish hope the same success for Tory Lanez happens for him. You know what I mean? To me, Euroz is a true leader by not just by what he does, you know, in his actions and like choosing to be independent, but also by leading by example and showing really cats how to fucking approach the music game, man. Like how you really got to do it. You know, I love this. And just right when everyone stopped being creative, like around after 2016, say like mid 2017 going into 2018, this dude was still popping his stuff. And it still felt so much more substantial, man. And we'll get to it, because next episode, we're going to be covering Two Birds, One Stone, which was released in 2017, right where the golden age of the 2010s of hip-hop and R&B started really fall a bit. But yeah, that record was definitely a highlight from one of those years. But yeah, I had to bring this fucking back, man. This shit was dope. That one line was cold as fuck. Let's see, was there anything else that I might have No, I think I covered everything right there. So let's go ahead and keep playing, man. I know we're already like 24 minutes in and we're still on the first track, so I'm not gonna waste no more time. Let's get it. But I had to break that down. Because that whole bar right there, to me, holds a lot more meaning than just the solid bar that Euroz spoke. Like, that shit goes deeper than that.
Who the hottest out of? Treat me on your knees, that rule is cardinal. Silent with maneuvering, rumors don't get cardinals.
Yep.
You know the saying, they say nothing's perfect. Well, except for my raps, cause shit ain't a flaw in those. I be absent at the spot and after spot. You too focused, he leopard hunting, he after spots.
You too focused, you leopard hunting, he after spots. I be absent at the spot and the after spot. So he's saying, while some of these artists waste their time, instead of being in the studio working on their grind, they go to the to the club, and then the after club spots, after spots. And then he's like, you too focused, you leopard hunting, he after spots. So, damn, I fucked up that shit. But anyways, what I'm saying is like this. So while other artists are chasing it, going to the club life, going all that, spending most of their time doing that shit, Euroz is avoiding all that, and he's in the studio working on his grind. So he's like, I be absent at the spot and the after spot. So basically, I'll be absent at the club, after clubs. But you're too focused. You leopard hunting after spots. So you're like chasing after leopards, and obviously leopards got spots on them. So I like that fucking line. That shit was clever. Either way, he could have used any cat. He could have done leopard. He could have done fucking jaguars. He would have been on that motherfucker. So let me get, where was that shit at? I fucking messed up.
I don't hate it all, I see you at the top. Your favorite strippers and caddy drivers, they lack a lot. I'm really me, no presence determines how I act as spies. How I act as spies. Your favorite strippers and caddy drivers, they lack a lot. I'm really me, no presence determines how I act as spies. How I act as spies. Treat my soul like a gold mine, been digging deep. Now I'm bossed up, paid the car.
So he said your favorite trick is some caddy drivers, they lack a lot. I'm really me, no presence determines how I act a spot. I think that's what he was saying. I don't know what he was trying to say right there.
Drivers, they lack a lot. I'm really me, no presence determines how I act as spies. How I act as spies.
Yeah, that's
my soul like a gold mine, been digging deep. Now I'm bossed up, paid the cost, but this shit is steep. Lemon squeeze, we was trigger happy, they still won't take nothing but a finger. We think shit is sweet. I got enemies.
Shit still won't take nothing but a finger who thinks shit sweet. Is he talking about Butterfingers? That's interesting, because he's talking about still won't take nothing but a candy. Oh man, that's funny right there. So treat my soul like a gold mine, been digging deep within myself. Now I'm bossed up, paint the cost, but this shit is steep. That means I've been digging deep in myself. So when I'm putting now that I got, he's like saying once I got my music out there, I think he's aiming for something bigger, like having his own independent label and all that. So once he does that, or whatever, he starts distributing his albums, the price for that is gonna cost really deep for him to paint his art on that. So I think that was pretty cool.
It's got a lot of enemies, same ones hating, really want to join the entity. On the entity.
I wasn't trying to spend 25 minutes on this, not even 20, it's 28, god damn. Either way, I keep forgetting to timestamp this shit to jump to the next song. I might do that when I edit this shit. In fact, let me write that down so that way I don't fucking forget this shit. Probably will do it in the comment section. So, but yeah, I thought this was fucking dope, man. How he went in on that last line was cool. How I got enemies, got a lot of enemies. Same ones hating, really want to join the entity. They just want to fit in. So it's basically the term of like, if you can't beat them, join them. Pull some Kevin Durant shit. That's what it is. That shit's savage right there. So with that being done, let me go to track number 2. Nothing matters, matters. Man, I love this sample. Let's get it. It's like that J. Cole. How high? How high? Nothing matters. Nothing matters, matters. I like this shit. Let's get it.
Unfinished business and unspoken agreements. Even after you wake up, you supposed to be dreaming. I'm kicked back, but high enough for my nose to be bleeding. Steve Jobs level plot, just know you're genius.
Kicked up high enough to know my nose be bleeding. He's talking about nosebleed seats right there. That shit was dope. Let's keep going.
And watch the snakes are sweaty poisonous. The pressurized, they wonder how I stay so poisonous. I'm just thinking as this joint is lit. About the riots on the tier, boy, the joint was lit. It's where I learned to rap. I did my time and bounced. 48 months and now I'm here, got that what time and bout. It was written in the sky, them stars aligning now. A cold case that I've been killing, y'all just finding out. If she come through, got gotta know the drill like she trying out. A lot of shit I got my sights on, only Lord knows what I'm eyeing out. True king shit on the front line, no hiding out. True king shit on the front line, no hiding out. Nothing even matters. Oh, so good. Nothing even matters.
All right, I'm gonna break it down verse by verse. That's what I'm gonna do from now on going forward. Can't be affording to make y'all watch 25 minutes for one song. So right here, so I already mentioned that I'm kicked back but high enough for my nose to be bleeding. So he's talking about he's all the way back in the back seats. That's really like some gangster shit where like they'll be at a game, but they're like all the way at the back seat, the nosebleeds. So that way people don't really be seeing them. Steve Jobs loved plotting and just know he a genius. And watch the snakes, they sweat poisonous, depressurized. They wonder how I stay so poisonous. Let's see, where was it at that I thought was pretty interesting? About them riots on the tier, boy, the joint was lit. It was where I learned to rap. I did my time and bounced. Wait, what the fuck? I'm just thinking that the joint is lit. About them riots on the tier, boy, the joint was lit. I don't know, I can't get good context on that, but if she come through, she gotta know the drill, like she trying now. Her loudest shit, I got my sights on, only Lord knows what I'm eyeing now. So interesting right here, her loud as shit, I got my sights on. Now you thinking loud like as if she's loud like in volume, but I think he's also talking about loud as in like her way here shines, because like when you wear loud clothing, that's flashy and that's poppy. So he's saying like she's very flashy in his eyes, and that's what he's got his sights on. Pretty interesting line right there. All right, so after this, we're gonna go ahead and let the second verse go in.
Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Too busy doing me, no time to impress haters. Who on the sideline, all wide-eyed with the spectators. Who most likely getting less paper, gotta thank the ones that wrote me off, who I guarantee will write a check later. Non-stop, I'm in go mode, legend shit, y'all just so-so. Time precious, Lord knows why I need a rollie, all rose gold. And we just saving money, letting haters handle all the promo. I don't fuck with you, so I'm Hollywood, yeah. Tell me something I don't know. In my mind, no one's ahead of me. If you can't see who run this show, then you need better seats. Big pockets really invest in me, the irony of holding on to dreams he may never reach. I guess nothing even matters.
That was solid right there.
Nothing even matters.